We're constantly dependent on other people instead of actually taking a step back from everything, analyze it from a broader perspective, and think for ourselves. I don't see that nowadays, you know? It's becoming more and more, I see a lot more people doing it, but still it's quite rare to see, so.
I know it's gonna hurt, but you're worth fighting for.
So welcome to today's video. So as you can see, we are in the forest again, so I just decided to go for a walk. Kind of thought I'd take the camera with me. Basically got a question the other day. What would I tell my younger self? And it kind of made me think a little bit. I don't feel like I have a black and white answer for that. At the same time, I have a couple of points to run by to kind of touch on and kind of just probably rant on a little bit as well in terms of a few different points. But I think one of the first things that I would say is that you have to back yourself 110%. In the beginning stages, especially coming into trading, coming into self-development, coming into, you know, this whole pathway has been backing myself 110%, even if the odds are not in your favor. You know, I always thought myself of having that underdog status, and I still do. I go off that all the time. You know, I'd rather, despite doing YouTube and despite doing social media, I do like being the underdog of people doubting you and people being like, oh, you know, he's never going to make it. You know, he's never going to make it. He has no chance. The odds are against you, but then still just cracking through and making it. So I've always felt like I'm that person. So underdog status, no matter what, yeah, you have to back yourself. I think in the beginning stages, there was literally, bar a couple of people, there was no one really believed in the vision, and you can't really expect them to be completely honest, especially if you don't have any progression to kind of cement that you're making progress. How can you expect for anyone to believe in you? I think in the first 6 to 12 months of the pathway into self-development, trading, and prior to that I'd been in snooker as well, so I'd already had a certain thermostat built up into proving people wrong and backing myself no matter what other people thought. So I've always carried that through, which has been really good. But you just have to do it, you know. Just for myself, I'm never going to give up, you know. I'm always going to for myself, I feel like I was born to succeed, you know. You have to have that certain pride, that certain self-worth within yourself to say, you know what, I was born to succeed. There's no way I'm going to give up and give in. No matter what that journey unfolds, I don't know how it's going to unfold, but eventually you're going to get to end goal, whether that's a year down the line, whether it's 6 months down the line, whether it's 3 years down the line, who knows. But it's just going through that journey and just having that mentality of never retreat, never surrender, and that's what I'll always have. So I am grateful that I did stick to my gut feeling. You know, you have to trust that gut feeling, you have to trust that intuition that does kick in. And for myself, I was always told, you know, don't take this route, it's too risky, there's a better option, there's a safer option, all these kind of crazy beliefs that society puts on us that are passed down through generations and generations of beliefs. So that can have a big impact on people, whether you know it or whether you don't know it. So for me, I was kind of conscious to that, so I knew it. So I was aware of that. I kind of used that to my advantage and used that as motivation to say, yeah, you know what, I'm going to prove you wrong. I'm going to tell, you know, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to achieve this, and I'm going to be able to actually give back to you in the future and come from a place of, okay, I've made it now, let me give back to this, let me give back to society a little bit more, let me give back to my friends, my family, all these different people. So that was one of the things that always drive me. But you have to back yourself, you know. We're in a society right now where a lot of people are weak. It's just the truth. It's just the truth. A lot of people are weak, not physically, mentally I'm talking about, where, you know, people are so easily walked on nowadays. You know, you can be walked on. I've been there in the past, and something I'm still working on to this day. But like, it's so easy to be walked on nowadays by society, by other people. You have to stand up for yourself. You have to take responsibility and be independent for yourself. 95% of the population are dependent on what the government tells them, what society tells them, what people they look up to tell them. You know, we're constantly dependent on other people instead of actually taking a step back from everything, analyze it from a broader perspective, and think for ourselves. I don't see that nowadays, you know. It's becoming more and more, I see a lot more people doing it, but still it's quite rare to see. So you just have to think independent. You know, the average person let's say you got a 9 to 5 job, and I always saw this when I was in a 9 to 5, where there was this one moment where I'm driving to work, right, and we're at a traffic light, Costa's over there, so it was a coffee shop they always used to go to, and sat at light. So I looked around me, I looked to the left, I looked to the right, and people are just so fixated on what's right in front of them instead of thinking the bigger picture and what's actually going on. You know, when I was in that situation, I could see the entire matrix system. I could see it all in how it all comes together. But if you're so fixated in the inside movement, you don't see what's going on in the outside perspective. And being awake to all this stuff recently, not just that, but a lot more things, it's kind of made me realize of all these different things and how, you know, society does work. So you just have to think independent, you have to back yourself, and when you back yourself, when you follow your gut feeling, when you follow your intuition, even if it is right or wrong, because in my experience, every time I've had a gut feeling to do something, whether it's been, you know, to leave snooker or leave my 9 to 5 job, or to get involved in trading, to start a YouTube channel, to do this, to do that, whatever it's been in, it's always come out on top in the long run. You know, it's not always certain. Sometimes you have to go through uncertain times before that gut feeling really shines through. But I've always trusted myself, I've always backed myself, I've always had that gut feeling and followed that, and I really feel like that's something that I'm super grateful that I did as a late teenager. So that's a skill that it's not a skill, it's just a decision you have to make to follow yourself and back yourself. So that will be one of the main things that I would honestly say to myself. I think what's important to my younger self is, and anyone that is going through those younger years right now, you can't be afraid of leaving people behind. It's the cold hard truth. You know, we kind of live in this bubble when we leave school that you kind of, you know, you're going to see your quote unquote friends forever in that environment. You're going to live life together and all that stuff, and it's true in some circumstances. For me, I have like 2, 3, 4 close friends that I've had from school and just still friends to this day, which I'm super grateful for. But apart from that, pretty much just left everyone behind, and that's not intentionally always. You know, I had to make a conscious decision with some people to cut them off just because of toxic energy, and you have to kind of put yourself first and your goals first. If someone's asking you to come away from your goals and your hustle, then you have to make that decision for yourself, whether, you know, you want to go down that average life of partying every weekend, chasing whatever you want to chase, chasing girls, chasing all these different distractions, or do you want to go down the other path of actually chasing your goals, your ambitions, your dreams? So I took this path and ignored this path. So you kind of have to make that decision. I'm grateful for that. And I remember one Saturday night where I got asked to go out to, I think it was asked to go out in town just for a drink and stuff. I think I was 18 at the time. And I got to that point where I'd had enough of that. I think I'd had a few months of that, even a year probably. And then I was just like, you know what benefit am I getting out of this? What am I actually celebrating here? Am I celebrating the fact it's Saturday night? What am I actually celebrating? I don't feel like I'm, you know, getting anywhere with this. So at that point I was just like, you know what, cut this off. I'm going to cut this off right now. And from that moment onward, I was like, screw this. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to focus on me. I'm going to focus on leveling myself up, because longer term, it's always going to pay dividends, you know. And they always, nothing against them, because everyone's got their different life path. Everyone's got their different, you know, things they want to work on. But I always got that phrase thrown at me of, you know, you only live once. But at the same time, they approached it in the way that, you know, you only live once, so, you know, you can party now and do all these like things while you're young. But then I always approached it in a different perspective. You know, while you're at your peak in your 20s, 30s, 40s, etc., why not work hard? Why not build an empire? Why not do all these things for yourself, level yourself up, put yourself in a situation where you don't have to work through your 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, when you want to be sitting back and, you know, taking a little bit of a step back. For me personally, I don't think I will, because I'll always be busy doing different projects and building certain things, but have the option to have the freedom to take care of yourself, your family, your friends, the people that are closest to you, and really just society, just give back. And that's the way I always approached it, and that's the mindset that I always hold. Like, work hard now, put in the work, put in the foundation for yourself and other people, and then everything else will come as a side effect. You know, you have the freedom once you get to that stage of financial independence. So yeah, grateful for that. I'm not at that stage right now, still working on it, still a journey, still, you know, it takes time, but I'm getting closer by there. by the month, by the quarter, by the year. So it's a good journey to be on for sure. But yeah, you have to be willing to cut people off if they don't serve you. And it sounds super harsh, you know, a lot of people don't agree with this, and it depends in what context it's used. But at the same time, you have to be willing to, if someone is toxic and if someone is, you know, actually having a negative impact in your life, you have to either sit them down and tell them they're having a negative impact on you and your dreams and your ambitions and where you want to go. And if that doesn't work, you have to be willing to cut those people off. It's just a cold hard truth. I've had to do it. It's probably not the easiest thing, you know, that especially as an 18, 19-year-old, that was tough. Looking back, it wasn't as tough as it felt at the time. But it's definitely something you have to go through. So yeah, for myself, that's something that I had to go through. But like I said at the beginning, I've always kept friends that are close to me. They're on similar paths, they've got similar mindsets, they've got good intentions going forward. So I've always kept those people and still in contact with those people on a regular basis despite this lockdown. So yeah, that's something that I've always believed in. You have to cut out toxic people. You have to protect your own energy, because say for example you're doing really well, right? You're doing well. You're chasing all these different goals. You're meditating. You're bettering yourself. You're leveling yourself up. You're chasing goals. You're achieving this. If you then describe that to someone who's not on that level, you know, it doesn't mean to say that you're better than them, because that's not the case. I'm just saying in terms of level of actually leveling yourself up, then they're not going to understand that. They're going to probably, you know, subconsciously hate on you. Not in all cases. Some people are going to actually, you know, have good intentions for you, but a lot of the cases I've found is that they will just hate on you, and that hate, their intention is then to bring you down from this level to then this level so that they can relate to you. Because when they're down here, when you're up here, they can't really relate to that sort of thinking, so they have to bring you down or they have to level themselves up. So it's kind of that battle, and you have to decide which way that's going to go. So yeah, super important. It's not an easy topic for people to discuss, you know, cutting people off, but sometimes it can be a good answer, sometimes it can be bad. It depends in what context, in my opinion. But for me personally, that's something that I had to do, and it's one of the most positive things I had to make, that had to do back in 2016, 2017. So yeah, grateful. Another point I mentioned here, I'm kind of just thinking of points just off the top of my head right now, but it's important. So don't let anyone try to cap your fire, the fire that you have within yourself. It's so easy, especially when you have this intense fire burning within you to achieve certain things and to do certain things. It's so easy for people to kind of cap that, put a limit on you and put their belief system on you. So don't let other people's limitations cap your own potential. So important. So sometimes it can be subtly, sometimes it can be intentionally done, but whatever route that is, just don't let other people's belief systems negatively impact you, especially when you're working on your own goals, when you're working on your own ambitions, whether that's in the trading space, whether that's in other different entrepreneurial spaces, or whether you want to become an artist, a sports person, whatever it is. The same goes throughout entire life, to be completely honest. You have to stick up for yourself and kind of do that, you know, so super important. Another thing that's come to mind is the never give in, never retreat, never surrender. You're going to get a lot of people tell you can't do something. Show them that you can, you know. You can't be here worrying about what other people think, their opinions on you, and don't worry about anything else like that. You just have to believe in yourself. Like I said before, you have to back yourself 110%, and when you have that strong belief, you don't always have to show it on the outside, because I haven't always shown it on the outside. Sometimes I've kind of kept that quiet, but I've always had that strong belief in myself to succeed longer term, and I still have that to this day, if not a lot more to this day. So you just have to back yourself, you have to trust yourself, you have to have that internal belief that you will succeed. That there has to be no alternatives. You know, if you have doubt in your mind that you will succeed, that doubt will come a reality. So you have to abolish all that, focus on the fact that there's what other alternative is there. I go back to a 9 to 5. You know, I go on this average path. No, definitely not. So you have to understand that. You have to go forward with that. You know, reach inside you, get that drive, and just that conviction to strive forward. Never retreat, never surrender. Never give in, push towards your goals, level up every single day, and put the work in. But yeah, let me know down below what you would say to your younger self, your honest thoughts, whether that's any regrets or whether that's any just advice you would give, or something you actually really did well. So just drop that down below. I'd be interested to kind of read these, go through them, and kind of text back as well. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and have a good week. I'm out. See you soon.